Good afternoon, everyone. I recently saw a commercial that I thought was absolutely interesting. A few months ago, I did a review on a shirt from Louis Vuitton at the request of some of my viewers who were very curious to see if expensive designer clothes was worth it, and as well as to discuss what exactly goes into the justification of such high price tags. One of the things that I have discussed is that part of the justification is that the overwhelming amount of effort that they put into advertising. These well-known brands, and everyone knows about them. They are mentioned in songs, in music, in movies, in films, everywhere. And they definitely spend tremendous sums on advertising. That is part of what makes them so iconic, that they actually have tremendous budgets for marketing. In that video, I've discussed what exactly makes brands so expensive, but I'd like to highlight something related to their marketing. In that video, you may remember that I had as the thumbnail this picture. It is an adorable little cartoon, and it was part of Louis Vuitton's spring and summer collection. It was the advertising campaign, and it was not just this photograph. There were all kinds of cartoons on YouTube for it. And I remember I was listening to a few videos on Spanish and other languages, and this commercial came on. But what was interesting is I was watching children's programs. It wasn't Dora the Explorer, but it was some other children's program about Spanish or French or what have you. And I know why I saw that commercial. I saw that commercial because I have, of course, bought something from Louis Vuitton to review, and they knew that, therefore, I was a customer who they could market to, who they could advertise to. But it's interesting that I received that particular commercial containing a cartoon while I was watching these. I was watching these tutorials on Spanish and French, but they weren't just tutorials. They had little cartoons. It was intended for children. It was a type of children's program. And so, why did I receive this particular cartoon? That struck me as a little odd. And that made me think, are they advertising to children? And I thought maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's just a coincidence that not only am I, of course, I'm seeing a Louis Vuitton commercial after purchasing something from Louis Vuitton. Of course, that much makes sense, right? But why am I seeing it while I am watching a children's show? And why is it featuring cartoons? Today I saw a different commercial, this time by Burberry. And Burberry is partnering with Minecraft for exclusive in-game early access capsule collection access and personalized email updates about the world of Burberry, including extensive exclusive event coverage, early access to limited edition products, and campaign collaborations. In a game? In a game, they are doing this in a game? Who plays Minecraft? I know a lot of people may play Minecraft, but if I understood correctly, let's see here what the age bracket for Minecraft is. The intended audience for Minecraft is 11 years old, according to Google. And oh no, that 11 years is how long Minecraft has been around. But Minecraft is recommended by Minecraft and by commonsensemedia.org it is recommended for children ages 8 and up. So this means that they are marketing their products and signing children up for their emails to be updated with exclusive content and product information and collections for collections of various fashion concepts. Isn't that strange? Isn't Minecraft a strange platform for a company such as Burberry to consider as part of their marketing efforts? Isn't that a strange platform? According to lung.org, tobacco companies have been marketing to children for decades, and they have done so using various cartoon characters. Perhaps you may have remembered Camel Joe. And I think he looks strikingly familiar to the protagonist of our Louis Vuitton commercial. It's not exactly a camel, it's a dog, but I can't help but think it looks so similar. So similar. And not only that, but please take a look at what you see on the eyes of all the characters. There's also another distinctive feature. The Louis Vuitton logo on their eyes. I feel that this is striking and very reflective of something we see very commonly in all of the camel advertisements. We see here Camel Joe. Look at his eyes. Look at how reflective they are. Look at how there is this reflection on his eyes. And the coloring is very similar. The color and patterns, the outfits are very similar. Here is that reflection again on another camel advertisement. Do you notice again there is not only a reflection on his eyes but on his sunglasses as well. And then again we see what looks like Camel Joe's family and friends. Look at all those reflections on all those eyes, on all the sunglasses. Do you see there? Do you see there? There is like a window logo or something on his eyes that looks very similar. And again, we see here the leather jacket, the colors, the black and white color scheme, and the reflective eyes. Well, my friends, I think, I dare say, there are tremendous similarities between Camel Joe's advertising and the advertising on Louis Vuitton's cartoons, which showed up during a children's program. Is it just a coincidence? I think that this is too much for it to be a mere coincidence. And the fact that I saw a commercial from Burberry advertising to potentially 8-year-olds for exclusive content and offers and product offers at 8 years old. What is the purpose of this advertising? Well, what was the purpose of, when I discuss these with people, oftentimes the rebuke I receive is, oh, it's just a coincidence. They're not trying to target children. It's just a coincidence. It's just a fun, hip cartoon. Well, as you've seen, lung.org, which is it acknowledges that they have used cartoons to target children. It is a known fact that the cartoons were a deliberate attempt to target children. Why wasn't that just something fun, something hip, an interesting little coincidence that they were marketing using cartoons? It's just hip, right? It's just fun. These companies have tremendous marketing budgets. That is why that their products are well known and their products are so expensive. Their marketing budgets are enormous. If cigarette companies and tobacco companies have targeted children in order to sell their products, Well, again, people used to say, people used to argue, I'm sure, but you can't buy cigarettes, so why would they target the children? Oh, but the purpose is that they need to get people to associate cigarettes with positive attributes to ensure that they are smokers later in life. They want to groom people to smoke cigarettes later in life by using cartoons and associating their products with positive imagery. Why would these brands not do the same? It, I dare say it would be foolish to avoid this. I think that they should be doing this. If they want to maximize their profits, this is something that they should be doing. Of course, then there is the moral issue of this. In our society, we have accepted that children are unable to consent and that children are unable to make rational decisions. And one of the reasons that we have such a powerful stigma against sexual activity with minors is because of the fact that it is believed that having sex with minors or exposing them to sexual imagery or experiences will make it difficult for them to function as adults in a healthy way. That is the general consensus in America. It is because it influences the way that they perceive society and the world. And in a study I read somewhere, I really cannot recall, I read that childhood sexuality, even when it is consensual, and the reason I say consensual because most of the studies that I try to read online tend to focus around situations that often always involve some other kind of direct physical brutality, aside from the act in of itself. I am trying to find the effects of sex on children specifically. And some of the arguments that I read online, most of the academic sources often involves either some kind of neglect or some kind of brutality, some kind of abuse, some kind of power imbalance, all of which are outside of the act itself. The act itself is very problematic in our society, absolutely. But I feel like those are variables that may negatively influence studying what the effect of sex on children and minors is. I think that it should be as much as possible removed to study the situation without those instances of physical violence or abuse or neglect. And I have come across a few articles that talk about childhood consensual because, in our society, it can't be consensual. In our current society, having sex with someone who is a minor represents a gross imbalance of power at the least. At the very least, it is impossible for a child to have sex with an adult without there being, or very unlikely, I would say impossible, without tremendous social harm and instances of neglect and instances of abuse. I think that it will likely not happen. How would it even occur? I think it is inseparable from abuse in our current society. But we have established in that it is immoral to have sex with children because they are unable to consent and because of the potential for harm that occurs in children who cannot reason and make decisions for themselves. And not only is that problematic in the moment, but the articles that I have looked at before that discuss childhood sexuality as separate from physical abuse often discuss that there is a correlation between childhood sexuality, as in having sex with siblings or peers at school or being exposed to pornography, all of these things, that they make a child more likely to engage in high-risk sexual activity later in life, in riskier financial decisions later in life, in doing extreme sports or extreme activities or consuming drugs, committing crimes, that there is a strong correlation between these things. And it is proposed that it is because the developing brain of a child is being accustomed and acclimated to surges of dopamine, which may occur during sexual activity, such as during orgasm and so forth, which a child's brain, if it develops to handle those kinds of dopamine loads, they may develop very impulsive disorders as they grow. So there is evidence to suggest that having sex with minors, or that minors having sex or being exposed to sexual stimuli, is damaging for their development. There is evidence for that. Which makes me wonder then, is it ethical to target children at all with marketing? Is it ethical at all? If they cannot consent to those decisions, is it ethical to influence them in ways that are designed to bypass their consent by changing their development as they grow? Why would these companies need to target children at all? It is probably because these products, people know that these products really have a lot to offer in the sense of in the sense of trophies, in the sense of displays of wealth to people. But I feel in our current economic climate that is insufficient. People are, especially the younger generations, are probably less likely to be influenced to believe that displays of wealth are somehow inherently a good idea. And we see this again. I made a video before about how we are moving away from the idea of the business suit into more casual wear, and this is because overt displays of wealth and power tend to make people associate them with systemic abuses, which are rampant, and companies try to stay away from that imagery. And so the reason that these companies are associating themselves with cartoons and children, I strongly believe, is to get children and people to see these concepts, to see these ideas, these brands as something positive, something influential, something fun, something hip, something that is part of society, part of culture, part of the in-group. I think that is the reason why. And I wonder, to what degree is that ethical? If it's not if it is immoral to bombard children with sexual imagery, such as by allowing them to access pornography because of what it might do to their mind, what it might do to their development, why is it okay to advertise to children? Why is it acceptable? Shouldn't this be a great outcry? That in a climate in which everyone is struggling financially, in which it feels as if we're going to collapse any moment now, any month now, it might be the last. Is it really ethical for these companies to be trying to influence children to see their products as part of their life? Is it really appropriate for Burberry to be trying to get 8-year-olds to identify with their products? I'd like to know what you think. In what ways is this any less harmful than allowing children than advertising with cigarettes? Of course, cigarettes cause direct harm immediately, but so does it buying expensive fashion, especially since a common talking point amongst various conservative groups is that people just spend money on avocado toast and designer purses. Well, if that is the case, if that is the source of the problems, if conservatives and capitalists believe that is the source of problems, not capitalism, not our current system, not any of these issues, if they believe that is the problem, then is it not unethical to advertise to children? I think so. If the cause of our current problems is that people spend money exorbitantly on brands they cannot afford, it seems unethical to allow companies to advertise to children so that they will be more likely to make purchases of such when they are grown. It seems unethical. And furthermore, it also seems unethical in general to advertise to children as a way of creating attachments to their product. That seems really unethical, doesn't it to you? Doesn't it? It seems unethical to me to even have cartoon characters on sugar-laden cereal. And I find it interesting that whenever I discuss these things in public, I always receive a lot of pushback. I wondered. I'm desperately reaching out to the rest of the universe through YouTube. I want to know: is there anyone else out there who thinks that it's a little unethical for companies to advertise to children at all, in any way? I would like to know your opinion. Right or wrong, I would like to know what you think. I promise I will take whatever you say and I will put it in a pipe and yes. So I would just like to hear what you have to say. Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you all.